78.6 FM, positive vibes of Winsome. It's been a minute. I'm pushing the controls the first time. Just making sure everything's good. Hey, hold on real quick. It's been a while. I think we're good. And give me a quick sec. I think I need to push one of the other buttons. Do I need to push one of the other buttons? So go ahead. There we are. There we go. Arigato. Arigato. Ohayo gozaimasu. Good morning. It's still morning time here in Okinawa. A beautiful morning. Here it's a little chilly, a little cold, right? But it's really a beautiful day. I'm looking out the window right now. This is my first day back. It's been a few weeks. I wasn't here for the annual Happy New Year show. I wasn't here for the special. And so now I'm making up for that, right? 2025, I'm really excited about it. Really sad about what's going on right now with my home state, California. Really sad about the Los Angeles wildfires. Been reading about that a lot, and then I have family that's directly affected by that. So to my family and friends that are in the midst of that chaos, I'm praying for you. You are in our thoughts, prayers, of course, my thoughts and prayers. I love you, and stay safe. And hopefully, I know the insurance companies are doing some wild things right now, man. We're going to be talking about this for a few weeks or months to come, but man, really sad what's going on in Los Angeles. So I wanted to give a shout out, send love and prayers from this show to the individuals who are affected by that chaos. Anyway, moving forward. Hey, it is Saturday, beautiful chilly Saturday here in Okinawa. I am loving being back. I've really missed the show, missed being here, missed being in this booth. This is really, it's like surreal to be back in here. A lot has been going on over the past couple of weeks, to include a lot of traveling, a lot of planning, a lot of gearing up for 2025. Prep, it's like Batman, right? Batman needs his prep time. So last couple of weeks has been a lot of prep, a lot of certifications to get ready to teach or to have the opportunity to teach in the next couple of months and the rest of this year. Very exciting year. This year is going to be my last year, full year, should I say, on active duty Air Force. Complete last year doing the military thing. So that's it. After this is a wrap. I'm calling the day. Next year is going to be Mr. Winsome, not Senior Master Sergeant Winsome, my day job, day name, right? So getting ready for that. And I guess realistically just trying to mental prep. You prepare for yourself. You prepare for your team. You think about the pros and cons, the goods and bads, the what ifs. You kind of have to take all of these things into consideration when you're planning for the year. So I'm very excited to finally be back in the booth and to be able to share anything, be able to pour into the community, be able to talk about positive things, to be able to make you smile while I smile, which I am right now. If you can't see me smiling and loving the fact that I'm back, I'm just really excited to be here. One of the cool things about being back this morning, I'll tell you about Okinawa this morning. I needed a boost. I woke up, the Saturday routine, woke up, washing clothes, getting ready for the show, getting my mindset about what I want to talk about. But I needed a boost. And I always tell you, and I'll slow this down for anyone who's listening in right here and who's learning English. I am a big proponent for doing things that make you smile. Listening to things that make you smile. That's it. Find those things. What are they? Where are they? That make you truly smile. And so that makes me smile. The things that bring smiles to my face are different shows, different speeches, music. And this morning, it'd been a while since I'd listened to these guys, but there's a show that I love. The show Scrubs. If you've never seen the show Scrubs is about a group of doctors, but it starts at the very beginning of their story when they're coming out of medical school, learning to become doctors. It's a comedy. The story has always made me smile. It's a lot of seasons to this show. And after the show ended, a few years later, when fans like myself were hoping that the show would come back, the guys from the show decided to do a podcast. And it's really Zach Braff and Donald Faison. I really love the podcast and the team that does this and the guests they have on, but I hadn't listened to it for a while, right? It was kind of one of those when it first happened, I was really into it. I was getting a kick out of it, and then life got in the way, right? And I was finding other sources of smiles around the world. But I listened to it for the first time this morning in a long time. And they had a guest, Joel McHale, from the show Community. And I'll tell you, I'm still happy from just listening to them, laughing with them, teasing each other, and the jokes and the energy. It just really flipped my mood. I was kind of in a blah mood, I guess you can say. And usually that's not me, right? I'm just like, let me get my energy going. But I found it instantly once they started talking and once they started getting their conversations. It was very motivating. And for me, coming into this show, I really needed that boost, right? So to that team who does the Fake Doctors, Real Friends, I'm really excited that you guys are still going. Hopefully your families and you weren't affected by the wildfires. But we really love that show. And really, if no one's told you in a while, thank you for keeping us smiling, even after you get off the television show, for keeping us going for the fans. And the fans are not just the show and the characters, but you as actors and individuals. Thank you. And to the team that keeps that going, you guys are amazing. So thank you. I'm still listening. I'm back on it. I'm going to catch up now, listen to all the guests, and see. I need that energy in the mornings. That's so I refound, newly, but not so new, found that show all over again. I can't wait to listen to it throughout this week. Get my days going. All right, back to it. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes with Winsome, FM Yomitan. This has been an incredible ride, right? Last couple of years, the guests that we've had on, the subjects that we've touched on, the opportunities to speak on different topics that really meant something and that really touched my heart. So I'm one of these guys, and I came to the realization when I was standing on a lighthouse a few weeks ago. I was like, the reason why I care so much to do this is because everything I talk about, I teach or cover while I'm in here is something that resonated with me, something that made my heart smile, right? And if it made me smile, made me happy, gave me positive energy, why wouldn't I want to share that with others, right? Just a little joy, share it with the people around you. I'm listening to my team yesterday, and even the symbol for my center, right? We've of course moved locations. Our team is in a new building now, but the symbol for our team is still the lighthouse. So being that beacon of hope, to educate, encourage, and inspire, collaborating with the resiliency teams, teaching the resiliency subjects, bringing in subject matter experts to talk about these things that are truly important to your everyday life, to make sure that you're standing strong, to make sure that you're clear-minded, to make sure that you are growing every single day, that your goal is to be better than yesterday, how to maintain a positive mindset, how to maintain just the mindset to keep moving forward. Like all of these things that we talk about, and the people who support it and the people who pour into us so that we can pour into you. I'm so excited about 2025. So what have you been doing, Winston? You saying all this planning and prepping? Certification classes. So there are classes that in order for me to teach other topics or subjects, I got to learn myself. So a lot of that goes into learning the subject, learning the topic, taking the test for that subject, making sure that I fully understand it, and then being certified to go out and teach it. I don't like teaching information that I'm not a subject matter, and I can't say expert yet, but very familiar and certified on the subject matter material. A lot of these things are time consuming, but very worth it in the end. If it was easy, everyone would do it, right? But it's not. And it is time consuming. It is taxing, especially being here in Japan. We have to do things like night classes, Zooms, meetings on U.S. time. So when you're doing things on U.S. time, that keeps you up. Say, for example, a meeting for the U.S. is at noon. Remember where we are. We're here in Japan. So a meeting in noon Eastern Standard Time is 2 a.m. 0200 Japan Standard Time. Now, because this is something that we want, because this is something that I want to complete, accomplish, and fulfill, a vision that I have, I'm sacrificing that. Oh, it's a 2 a.m. meeting? Cool. I'm going to be at a 2 a.m. meeting. Let's do it. Lock it in. Right? I'll make up that sleep tomorrow because I know this is something that's important. And I never ask the people on the other side to change their schedule. Now, I always present a time that works out great. For example, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is 7 a.m. That's easy. 4 p.m. is 6 a.m. That's easy for me. You could even go 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 5 a.m. That's still doable because I'm usually up for the gym, right? But keeping all of these in mind, we're trying to have these conversations, networking, building relationships with individuals, and you want to do it on a time that works for them. That's not eating into their family time. That's part of that relationship building, right? Being considerate of other people who are being considerate of allowing you these opportunities. So that's where I've been, right? A couple of weeks, and it's not just here. Had a wonderful opportunity to go to Seoul, Korea. Had a cool opportunity to go, of course, over to Kumajima, which was a really beautiful experience. Kumajima, Miyako-jima. These last couple of weekends, right? You talk about where I've been. Kumajima, Miyako-jima. I spent last weekend, really got back kind of late. But I was here. I was really excited to be here in Yomitan at the castle ruins for the very first sunrise following the new year. And I saw the president of the station there. Wonderful to see familiar faces. He had a picture of me while I'm getting pictures and videos of this scene. It was so beautiful to witness and to be a part of. So let me explain to you what this looked like if you've never seen it. So the very first sunrise after the new year, the community here in Yomitan, they meet at the castle ruins, which is about 5 minutes from my house. And what happens is this a community of people, for as far as you can see when you walk up on the steps and walk around the hill. And as you're walking, you'll see just people sitting, trying to get a good view of the sun when it comes up. Because and when you get there, it's cloudy. So you're looking at about 5:30, 6 in the morning when people start coming up because they don't want to miss it. It's a little cloudy still, overcast. You really can't see anything. And along the ruins wall, so like a castle wall, picture this for me. There's people standing there, sitting on the top and leaning over to see and getting good angles, good views. But it's all community. People are really kind. They're so nice and smiling. Everybody's in a wonderful mood. It's a new year. It's a new start. It's a new button being pushed. This is a change. And we're all witnessing it together. And it was one of the most amazing and surreal scenes to be a part of because, and I wish I had my laptop here. I'd show you the video. But while I was there and while I was watching, I saw the sun when it started creeping through the clouds. It just started peeking through. It was like watching a movie. Just you see it's coming and slow, right? It wasn't really quickly. It took a second. It took a few minutes, but slowly started creeping through the clouds, and you hear people whispering, right, it's coming. And then when it was about to happen, like right before the sun was about to cross over the threshold of the clouds and give us that first peek of the new sun for the new year here in Okinawa, there's a trumpet that's played at the top of the castle ruins. And you hear, it was the coolest thing. So I'm getting a picture of that while trying to turn back to get a picture of the sun because I knew it was symbolizing, here it comes. Here's the new sun. Are you ready for it? Here's the new year. And you know the thing, with the new sun, you make a wish, right? What do you wish to happen for yourself? What do you wish to be? What's the next chapter, or wish to be your next chapter? What do you wish for yourself, your family, your movie for 2025? And I was just in awe, man. I had to post it. I clipped it, put it all together, and posted it on my Facebook that day. I was very excited to share that with all of our friends and family in other countries who had not had their first sunrise yet. Hey, we're ahead of you by a day. So here's your first sunrise from Japan. It's a beautiful little video. I'm so blessed to have been able to capture that. And I wasn't even going. Let me just be 100 with you. I had no idea that this is what happens for the new sun, for the new year, every year. I've lived in this community the whole time, but I was just driving to the gym. I was really going to the gym that morning. And sure enough, I said, what are all these cars doing? And out of curiosity, I asked someone, and she told me, we're all here to see the new sun. 78.6 FM, positive vibes of Winston. We'll talk more about 2025 right after this break. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winston. We're back. And so the holiday break, right? So if you guys, depending on what you celebrate, depending on what you enjoy, right? We just had Christmas for the American holiday, Christmas. We had the New Year celebration, of course. And then we talked last segment about the new sun, which was a beautiful thing, right? The new sun for the new year. So depending on what you celebrate and where you are, you probably got a chance to see some really cool sights. You probably got to go some really cool places. My favorite part of Christmas was spending time with my little minions at Legoland. Now, that was a really good time. So I got a chance to go back to California, of course, before all of this craziness is happening right now with the wildfires. And me and the kids got a chance to go to Legoland. I don't know how many more times we'll get an opportunity to do Legoland, right? Because they're getting bigger. You know, those are my little friends. They're getting bigger, and I don't know how much more they'll want to go, but it was one of those, you get there and the Christmas lights for the American holiday, it was lit up that evening. It was a little chilly, right, already because it's California. It get chilly earlier before us here in Okinawa. But my babies got to see some bands playing. We got there a little late, so we had to eat. They had this really salty barbecue at Legoland. I was like dehydrated. I don't know if my kids remember that. It was like crazy. But to see them smile, to see them enjoying it, and it was kind of nostalgic for us. You know, we try to go once a year, and it's memories, right? And it's really the most important piece of that entire experience was making memories with my little friends. I miss them. I love them. They always give me energy before this show. I love talking about them whenever I'm on this show, and I can't wait to see them soon. But, yeah, that was what I did for Christmas. And then I had to get back here for New Year's. I didn't get a chance to spend too much time. I'm probably be back soon in a few months to see him because I always try to get back once a quarter. But I definitely enjoyed seeing them for the holiday season. And then New Year's being here was kind of like, okay, what's next? I did a quick turn and burn, 7-day flight, fly back, get here. What is next? And I thought about a lot of things. And I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to be very transparent with the audience today. I thought about a lot of things, right? Because even when this day job timeline is over, I still want to do what I do now. And I thought about just the journey getting here. I thought about not just the journey, every step, every relationship, every conversation, every training, every session, every seminar, every class, every teammate. Not, everyone who's played a hand in me being here, supporters, mentors, family members. But the most important thing that I caught or thought about was I waited my turn. And I'm going to say this in a way that makes sense probably to most people in my industry, right, when it comes to, they call it motivation. I'm not a motivator. I'm not an influencer. I'm an encourager. I'm unique. I try on purposefully. I don't go out and I'm not trying to post every 5 minutes. I'm not doing selfies every 5 minutes. I don't post my face, just a picture of me with some random catalog of words to sound smart. I don't do all that. I'm not an influencer. I don't stage videos to where somebody comes up and I automatically have this speech ready. I just saw something like that was kind of disturbing, where a guy pulls up in a fancy car with his buddy and so randomly somebody just happens to pull up with a video and ask a question and they have this practice speech about grinding. None of that is by chance. That's all staged. And I hope people realize that. And I hope people understand that that's not genuine. So to have an opportunity to encourage and inspire genuinely every week, every day that I wake up, every day that I go to school, work, teaching, coaching, whatever I'm doing, to have this chance, I waited my turn. Because I remember asking the people who were doing this on a regular basis, people who probably had my current day job and transitioned into doing this, and I remember asking them how. Now, the secret to it is sometimes when you ask someone how to achieve, you're looking up to them. You want to know, how do I get to do, not maybe exactly what you're doing, but along that lines, because that's what I want for myself. I think that is an amazing journey. I would love to have a piece of that for my future. Do you know that more times than none, someone will try to sell me a product? That was the first problem. And then after trying to sell me a product, they would probably give me advice that would take me the long way around. The long way around. And when I tell you the long way around, there is a long road to get to where we have the opportunity to do what we're doing. Now, I didn't know there was a clear path, right? And so those first couple of individuals you hit up, they see you, and how they see you, you can't choose that. But what I learned is those people saw me as a threat. Now, how do you counter that? If you're a positive individual, you are encouraged, self-motivated, and you witness that, and you understand it, and you take a step back and you're like, okay, I realize that this person or these people aren't going to help me. But there's a quote that Albert Einstein said, and I'll paraphrase. Albert Einstein said, enjoy and appreciate when they tell you no, because that just means you can do it yourself. And that's exactly what I did. I made my own connections. I reached out to other people who felt like and seemed like they would have my best interest and support my vision that I had, not just myself, but for our community. I made very close relationships with those individuals because I wanted to understand, and they opened this world up to me. I waited my turn. I knew that I was taking a long way around. I didn't want any shortcuts. I wanted to understand it. Kind of like one of the phrases in the U.S. right now was, I understand it now. But I needed that. I needed to see. It's so cool, right? In order to teach you patience, you must wait. And it's always things like that. I had to realize that you may want this really badly, but how do you show it? How do you work for it? And how do you put the energy into it to make sure that everybody on the other side watching you sees how much you really want this, how important this is to you, and why this is important to you? What's your story? What's your reason? What's your purpose? What are you fighting for? And I share this with you because this really happened. These are really the reflections of the beginning of 2025. These are things I'm reflecting on, like the journey. Like I remember getting started and having Zoom meetings with people, and those people like really telling me news that had absolutely nothing to do with the vision that I shared with them. I even had one individual who took snippets of my personal vision and kind of added them to their repertoire. My mentors know this story. It broke my heart. It was on Facebook. I posted like an old, sad, broken up person. I posted this on Facebook because I was all broken up about it. Even the logo that I had in mind was on this person's book. You can't take credit for a logo, right? But it's an idea that I had that I presented to this person a year prior to this book being released. I'll tell you, there's things that you'll experience. Now, I could have let that moment, I could have let those conversations, and I could have let those situations make me not want to do this anymore. I could have let that put out my flame in my candle. But I didn't. It fired me up. I remember speaking to, and people don't understand this, I remember having a conversation with one of the world's most known motivational speakers and asking him to help me with a project, right? This is something I was really passionate about. This is 3 years ago, maybe 4. And this person sent me around the way to get back to him to tell me he was charging an astronomical amount of money. And the amount of money he was asking for the project we were doing did not align with his messaging that he was putting out to the entire world. You know, I won't say names, I won't say instances, but I'll tell you, it's heartbreaking to know that these things happen. But that was part of the journey. All of that. When you put all of that together, and then you got the day job, right? So that's happening all on I call this a side quest, chasing passions, chasing the things that you do. Because like Oprah said, first you have to do what you need to do before you can do what you want to do. So for me, I was doing a lot of things that I wanted to do only because my day job, what I do for a living, my primary source of income was going well. I was fighting there too. So while I'm lining up all these side quests, I'm making sure that I'm being the best version of me for my main quest, which is my day job, my primary source of income. I had to fight for it every single day. Be a good leader, be a good teammate, be a good supervisor at the time, be a good manager, run your section, run your team, run your programs. These are all things that I knew I had to continue to do, maintain 100% of my time, if not 80% because that's all you really have when you really put all the effort and energy into what's in front of you and the responsibilities that you're given. And this is for if you guys have never served in the military, this is a requirement. You have to give a lot to make sure that these missions, these programs, and the vision of the leaders over you are being met. And then the people that you're responsible for, that's energy in itself. And they don't even realize it half the time until after you're gone. And then they're like, wow, yo, that dude did a lot. Yeah, we did. Because we cared. We cared enough to care. Not just about our programs, but our people. So you box all of that in on top of your side quest. And then if there's family involved, like in my case, excuse me, like in my case, you still have to give your family the energy they need, deserve, and want as well. So all of these things were what we're reflecting on. All of the stuff that I survived, had to overcome, had to understand, had to get, had to dissect, had to fight through. Wow. And if you've never had one of those moments when it's a new year or one of those opportunities when it's a calm day for yourself or a few minutes just to reflect on your journey, I recommend you do that. I had a teammate, I've shared the story before. I had a teammate that told me he doesn't reflect on his life or doesn't reflect on what's happening until way later if he does it. And I said, brother, when you do that, you miss out on so much because you're going to forget more than you remember. You're going to forget. And then a lot of people made this mistake where they don't write the important things down. So part of their story is just lost in memory, and then it's left for interpretation when you remember pieces of it. That's why the great people have journals. The greats have journals because the greats put their journals together for their book at the back end of their story, whatever chapter they're in, especially if it's an important chapter. And those are the books that you guys are reading and listening to either on audio book or podcast right now. Think about the greats that are on the podcast episodes telling their stories. And that's why they're listening, because it was an incredible story. They wrote it down so they can capture it. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes. We'll be right back after this break. .6 FM, Yoma Time, Positive Vibes of Winsome. It's crazy when you get back. I think I'm still trying to get adjusted to being back in the booth, right? I think next weekend or the week after, Belen and her mother are going to be here visiting. So I get to interview Belen's mom, kind of like she did when my kids were here. She interviewed each one of them. And man, that still, to this day, B knows that was so full circle for me. Right? Being able to share this experience with my little ones, my bestie, being able to interview them, and then having them telling their stories. And the coolest thing was my youngest son, when he was talking, like, yo, me and Belen, we looked at each other like, yo, this kid's been here before, man. I remember that. I was like in tears, just listening to the way he was articulating and communicating and sharing with Belen. That meant so much to me to be able to share this with the people who I care about the most. And so in 2 weeks, I got B on the line over here. I think in 2 weeks, you're going to have her and her mom up here, so we can do the same with moms. Miss Patricia, I got to meet Belen's sister too virtually this week, so I might get her on the phone just so y'all can hear her while we're here in the air. We're gonna try to make it fun for moms who's here visiting for a few weeks, a few months. We'll see. Belen's probably gonna try to keep it here forever. Y'all know how Belen is, man. She ain't gonna tell y'all, but we know what happens. Hey, but 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. I'm just excited to be back. I'm glad Belen isn't here this week, because she would have saw how many buttons I was getting wrong for spend so many weeks that I've ain't been in the studio and I'm pushing buttons. It was crazy, B. And I'm trying to figure out where I'm at, and the lady had to come help me to make sure. Hey, but Miss Otasan, thank you so much. It is good to be back. I know that every other couple of weekends I have some really amazing opportunities to travel and to see different parts of not just Okinawa, but Japan. And to be able to come here and talk about it, that is a blessing in itself. So I can't wait to tell you guys about my trip to Hokkaido next weekend when I get back. And then we'll share a little bit of that when Belen and her mom are here. Talk about her mom's journey and what she's been able to see while she was here in Okinawa. B, I just called you to say hi, man. I know I probably woke you up. I'm going to get back to it. But it's really a wonderful opportunity to start new this year. And I didn't want to just come and do the same thing. I think you all know, if you've ever heard my show, my biggest fear is to be today in the exact same place doing the exact same thing that I was doing 1 year ago. To me, that doesn't show growth. It doesn't show change. It doesn't show that I've evolved at all, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, all the things that matter to me and that we teach, right? So with that being said, it's going to be a little bit of difference when it comes to the segment productions after this. So when I get back, I want to talk about the class that I'm developing right now. And it's called Mastering Mindfulness. I almost forgot the title of my own class. Mastering Mindfulness. One of the cool things about emotional intelligence is it crosses across a lot of borders, right? It hits a lot of things that are important. And I'll talk about a lot of those topics throughout the rest of this year. But the most important thing I want to start with, and I wanted to start with this, and I'm going to tell you why I want to start with mastering mindfulness, why it's important to me, and why it even mattered. What happened last year was it was either the TikTokers or the youngins on Instagram. I don't know where it was, but what happened was there was a joke about mindfulness where they're being very mindful and demure. Do you guys remember that? So what happened was, it's kind of like trying to desensitize people to the importance of mindfulness, minimizing this importance in our daily lives. And I refuse to allow that, because I can tell you just from experience how mindfulness has changed my life. I can tell you from experience, by learning how to be present has made not just my current relationships, but the relationships from the last couple of years since I've been practicing this, just level up. It's something that's so important to me that I'm literally delivering a class about it going into the new year. And I'm reaching out to our subject matter experts on the topic to make sure that I'm not missing the mark anywhere. Because when you learn to be present, when you learn to control your mind, to take your power back, you're taking your life back. When you learn to see things in the world differently, right? When you learn to do little things like, even in the same neighborhood I wake up and drive through every day, let me look for something new today that I didn't recognize or catch or see yesterday. In this next conversation that I have with this friend of mine, let me listen to them differently. Let me not try to respond all the time. Let me really listen to their words and to see their expressions. Let me see the situation, the person, the environment, just taking it all in differently, and then being mindful, not just about others and your surroundings, but about yourself, how you're feeling, how you're thinking, what you're doing. Yeah, I'll tell you, there's a lot of jobs that teach you to multitask, but when you're able to learn how to focus on one task and give it that hyper focus that when it deserves it, doing that to a point where you're teaching yourself. Like I literally, as I'm practicing some of these skills, I was learning recently, hey, if I got my email open and I'm working on something, close it. Get back to it when this topic or task is done. If I have multiple messages, because today in everyday business life, people are using Microsoft Outlook. They got Microsoft Teams. They got their phones going. I mean, all of these things are different distractions, but people are working to the point where they can multitask, like I'm doing my hands right now, right? But when you slow it all down and when you focus on whatever the task is, and especially if you have a list of tasks, and you focus on that task, boop, boop. Even if you build in time, hey, I'm going to focus on this task that's a 4-hour long task, and every 10 minutes, I might check my email, only look at one to see if there's anything important, I'm closing it. I might check the phone, or I might not answer the phone for the next hour because I want to focus on this task. And when you focus on something differently and you give it its presence, when you're all of your presence, its outcome is usually different. And I'm not hopefully telling you guys anything you don't already know, but I want to teach you guys steps on how to do this for yourself. Now imagine the way you talk to people right now, just based on how you've always been raised, always engaged. How about when you have those mindful listening discussions, when you're very, what's the word I'm looking for? You're very specific. You're very, I can't think of the word right now, so I won't try to beat myself up. Deliberate. There it is. You're very deliberate about how you listen and very deliberate about how you respond. It changes everything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let this person get their entire thought out. And I'm away from my cue, right? I had a conversation last week. I was practicing that. I ain't going to lie to you. I had a conversation. A young man was talking, and I was like, all right, wait for your cue. He's not really giving you one, and this is the kind of guy that can keep going and going and going. So I asked permission, if you don't mind, and my apologies, but can I ask a question? I don't mean to stop you, but can I ask? Because this is going 3, 4, 5 different directions. I kind of want to just bring it back just so I can make sure I understand. And I'm not going in the wrong direction with my thought processing. Changed everything. These conversations with this young man normally go about 2 hours. This one went about 30 minutes. And I wasn't trying to time it. I was just really very deliberate. How I was listening, how I was responding, and trying to bring the conversation back to its core. Now, it's not a coaching scenario where coaching someone, you let them drive. This is just really listening to what someone's trying to get to. And I got to the point, too, being mindful about myself and about the way I deliver conversations and the way I deliver messaging. I was like, I'm not always going to solve everybody's problem in one conversation. I used to do that. That used to be my goal. I want to fix it. I really want to fix it. So how can I fix it? That was it. But I know there's a lot of real things going on in people's lives right now. I'm not going to be able to fix everything. I can't fix this, but I can give them advice. I can't fix this, but I can be confident. I can't fix this, but I can be there for them. This isn't a fixed situation. This is I need to listen, encourage, and just be there for them. How do you do that successfully? That's being present. That's mindful listening. I used to call it empathetic listening, but I was cutting it short. It's actually mindful listening. And so I say, if I can teach these things when we get back from our next break, if I can teach you what we're teaching the larger communities about mindfulness and get away from those jokes about mindful and demure, just bring it back. And if I'm able to capture why being mindful can save and change your life, and I feel like I did a little something. That's my first goal with 2025, coming back from Hokkaido and teaching mindfulness for a 1-hour session together, 45 minutes, right? And just making sure I'm going to practice here. You guys are going to be my test audience. And then I'm going to take that lesson, Mastering Mindfulness, which is a 2-hour session with activities and videos and everything else. I'm really making my own, but I really want to start here so I can make sure that I care enough to care to not just throw a product out there, but to give it to an audience I care about. And that's you. Even if it's a shorter version, being mindful about our conversations, about ourselves, our thoughts, our feelings, our bodies, our experiences, the things that we take for granted, the people around us that we love, that we care about, food. You might think I'm joking when I say food, but let me tell you something. I got a text yesterday from my ex. She texted me, and she had a picture of Chick-fil-A fries. Now, I love Chick-fil-A fries. Now, when I go to the United States and I order food, the first and last stop on my trip to the United States is always Chick-fil-A. Now, I'm going to say this to you right now. Chick-fil-A, You are my first and last stop every time I go to the U.S. However.com, she sends me a picture of Chick-fil-A fries yesterday. And it says we've done something different to our fries. Now, let's caveat that. A few weeks prior, she had called, we're talking, and the kids are eating, and I heard her say to the kids, the fries don't taste the same. Now, me hearing that, maybe they use a different grease, maybe it was they're a little old or soggy, they not fresh fries. That's what I'm thinking. No, but apparently, based on this article that I haven't completely read yet, so forgive me, it's a different ingredients or they did something different to the fries. I don't know what it is. I haven't tasted the new version, but I'm really sad because I adored the old version. I can literally picture in my mind eating the waffle fries and nuggets or the spicy chicken sandwich. And now I'm going back and it's not going to be the same experience. Not to say they're going to be worse, not going to say they're going to be better. I just know they won't be the same. That I'm picturing the taste and the meal in my mind right now. I joke about that, but I'm very mindful when I eat these meals. Imagine not having a food, one of your favorite foods, for months, even as far as a year. And then the opportunity comes to have it. Do you scarf it down or do you eat it slowly? You can just take it all in, the taste and the textures and that you've missed for a year. Now, if you're a scarf it down person, then you're not a mindful person right now when it came to that meal. But if you're taking your time and you're really trying to enjoy it, because I haven't had this in a year, oh, the waffle fries are warm. They're not too hot, just crispy enough. They're not soggy. They haven't been in the bag too long. And they're just crispy. And the potatoes like a fresh potato. Oh, I can tell they use some clean oil. You see where I'm going with that? That, my friend, is experiencing that like the first time. And then when you bite into that, for me, it's the spicy chicken sandwich with pepper jack cheese. And you bite into it for the first time. Man, it's crunchy right now. I'm just thinking about it. And the cheese, it has that zesty, not too spicy, but the zesty taste to it. The chicken has the juices. It hits you, and once it starts flowing, you realize a little spice, like a little hot sauce spice to it as you're biting down, but you taste the texture of the chicken, and the chicken taste comes. Man, the bread. Oh, man, don't get me on the bread. I give you all of this to tell you I have been very mindful about the way and I eat certain meals. I appreciate them differently. And in the lesson I'm going to teach you when I get back after Hokkaido's trip is to teach you how to not just experience this same feeling with meals, but with everything in your life that's important to you. With everything in your life that you want to experience differently, to appreciate them differently. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I can't wait to share mastering mindfulness with this community when I get back from Hokkaido. 78.6 FM, positive vibes of Winsome. A beautiful day outside. I'm looking at it out the window. We'll be right back after this. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. Hey, I haven't had my hands on these controls in a few weeks. I was joking about it with Miss Ultrasound. It's new to me again because I've been out of here for so long, but I'm so excited to be back. I'll tell you what, the timing was a little off, but like pulling the video back up and my smile, it's kind of like when you're trying to smile, but you can't get there. It's funny, but I'm so excited to be back in the booth, to have my hands back on the equipment, to see myself speaking into this community, and I'm so excited about the opportunities coming over the next few weeks, few months, and hopefully the remainder of 2025. Last segment, I was talking about mastering mindfulness. That's just one segment or one session that I'm really excited about because a lesson that I'm really excited about developing, finishing, and reaching out to my teammates to make sure that it's a product that makes sense and that is adored throughout this community. I'm not going to be able to do this alone. This one's something I really want to capture, and I want it to be a beautiful product. So it's going to be a rough version coming over here. I'm just testing out the material. But hopefully when I'm teaching it in front of audiences and in front of groups and for seminars, that it carries the same heart that I had when I was explaining it to you during the last segment. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. I am so excited about 2025. We started this segment talking about the new sunrise, man. New energy, new topics, new information, new purpose. This is it. I told you guys leading up to today, I waited my turn, right? And it has absolutely nothing to do with the family, community, support, and teammates that I have here in Okinawa because they've always been consistent, loving, supportive, encouraging, a beautiful team here to take care of all the wonderful things you guys get to hear day in and day out through the station, on the base, through our seminars, wonderful cast of amazing people. Who I'm talking about is the community that I'm going to after this year is over. Leading into that, building up to that, and understanding it. And I love the phrase from the youngins in the United States, I understand it now. It took me a minute. I waited my turn, and I understand it now. It's not about competing. It's not about trying to be better than anyone else. When it comes to encouraging, educating, inspiring, and the way we would say educate, encourage, and inspire, it's about the people. It's about the communities. It's about the lives you change, the lives you impact. It's about the people who will remember what they heard, the people who you can change their hearts and minds and gives them an opportunity to be better than they were yesterday. When they walk out of a seminar, finish listening to you speak, and they just want to be better. They want to be different. They want to change their lives. Imagine that. And then you're able to teach. Right now, you feel motivated. I encouraged you. Right now, you have been externally motivated. So now I want to give you the tools to turn that into intrinsic motivation. I want you to be able to motivate yourself from inside. Find that drive, that why, what fires you up, what makes you want to keep going when nothing else gives you energy. How do you find that energy, that strength from within you to want to do whatever you have set in your heart and mind to do? Getting there, getting people there is the goal. It's not just about teaching something, hey, hoo-hoo, being a cheerleader for 5 minutes. It's about building somebody up, giving them the tools, the skills, the knowledge to be able to go out and apply what you just taught. And when they go out and apply it, they are better for it. And then they'll remember, I remember this bald guy or this tall lady, whoever you are, they remember where the spark came from. Like Tupac said, I might not be the person to change the world, but I will spark the mind that does. And that can be what this community does. That's why I'm excited to become a part of it. As soon as this game is over, this United States military journey is over, the finish line is there. This is when you're talking about what was I reflecting on for the new year. That was it. The opportunity to do something new, different, bigger, better. Not that everything that we've had the opportunity to do has not been amazing, but imagine doing this on a larger platform. Not talking about this show. I'm talking about the motivational encouragement seminars. Imagine being able to do that on a larger platform with a larger audience, with different lives on the line that can be changed, that can be encouraged, that can be inspired to be great. That is what the reflection is. Now, to get to that from here, to reach that finish line, I know it's going to be hurdles. And I'm saying this to myself. I'm going to play this back probably later on in this year. I know there's going to be hurdles. I know there's going to be doors shut in my face. I know there's going to be challenges. I know there's going to be missed opportunities. I know I'm not always going to get it right, but I will tell anyone listening right now that I am, I can, and I will fight for the best version of not just this show, this product, everything I believe in. Vision, dreams, goals. And if you're not doing the same, then I need you to start. Fight for the best version of you. Everything that you see in front of you is what you want for you. Who are you trying to be? It doesn't matter how young you are listening to this. It doesn't matter how old you are listening to this. If you have a vision for yourself, if you have a version of yourself that you want, what are you doing and what steps are you taking to make that vision a reality? And what it is going to take to get there is discipline, consistency, and honesty. Because if you're not honest with yourself about what you can and can't do, and you're not putting that effort into it, you're not being disciplined to get the things done you need to get done, and you're not consistent to where sometimes I'm going to do it, sometimes I'm not, you may never make that vision a reality. But the two top things I can tell you are definitely going to drive you are discipline, consistency, and the last one is very important, is intrinsic motivation. Why is that such a big deal? I can motivate you and talk to you all day, but when I'm not around, or when that motivational song isn't around, and that person that encourages you isn't around, what's inside of you that keeps you going? What do you have in that chest of yours? What's that heart telling you to do? What's driving you when you don't have to? That's telling you that you want and need to. What are you pulling out of yourself, and how are you doing that on a consistent basis? What are you listening to in the morning that's keeping you in a positive mindset when you wake up and you want to have a good day? Because I can tell you, I had two options this morning. I could have woke up, turned on the news, and continued to look at the really sad things going on in California. Or I can wake up, fill my mind with something positive, meaning a podcast, a book. I told you this morning I was listening to Fake Doctors, Real Friends, just because I needed that boost of positive energy. And they always win, always makes me laugh. Just like when I was watching the show Scrubs, it's always a guaranteed smile. And I was giggling on the way here, listening to them. Talked to Joe McHale this morning on the interview I just heard. But I will tell you, what are you doing for yourself to make sure that you're starting your day off with a positive mindset, that you are motivated, self-motivated, in here motivated? What's the why that you're pulling from? What is it that makes you want to do what you say you want to do for yourself? That vision that you have for yourself, where's that strength to fight for it coming from? And how are you able to pull from that on a consistent basis? Do you have multiple sources, which is okay? Multiple different areas inside that you pull from. This is important to me because, like my friend Keith Abraham said, you have to have an emotional connection to dreams, visions, and goals you have for yourself. Because if there's no emotional connection, you are less likely to fight for it. So I need you to fight for it. Whatever you want for yourself in 2025. I understand it now. And I waited my turn. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. I'm so proud of you. You made it. We survived another year. We are here. First show of the new year, and I see you guys back after Hokkaido. You are loved, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Talk to you later.